Attention everybody, the views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of Acts Ministry, Acts Media Group, and or their affiliate and subordinate ministries and or nonprofits. Today's topic, masks. Enough said. That's enough to get anybody riled up today.
Yeah.
Which is, well, my opinion. Good morning! Coming to you live from Acts Media Group headquarters here in the beautiful Springfield, Missouri. It's the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay with your hosts, Matt and Jay. Steve. Steve's back today. Yay!
Morning, guys.
Allergies are not fun.
That sounds like a title.
It does sound like a title.
It was a title.
It was a title. Allergies are not fun. Anytime it rains, like right after or right before,
When the
pollen
sun comes out.
explodes.
It's like, it rained when I got into the Greene County thing for about 5 minutes. I got up by James River and it stopped.
Yeah, that happens to Branson. All right, here, let me back this off.
I heard Scott. Good morning, Scott. I heard you got a new job.
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Morning Drive with Matt and Jay. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
We're glad to have everybody on board with us today. So, today's show is proudly sponsored by Steamy Joe Cafe. I believe this is the last day for the buy one, get one free Steamy Joe salad.
Yeah, and by the way, Steve,
Supreme
the
salad.
Supreme, there is a small and a large.
Ooh.
Oh,
So there
Both
is,
buy one, get one?
Yeah.
nice.
So
you
feed
can
your
get a-
family.
So you can get a
Take
small one or
somebody
a
out
large
on a
one.
date.
Oh, yeah. That's a great place to go for a business meeting and or just the ladies, because there's a group of ladies that always comes in there.
What about for a date? Because it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
quaint, from what I understand, and I haven't seen it, but from what I understand what you guys have told me, it's a quaint little quiet place
Yeah.
where,
I've seen
well, it's crowded and busy because they're so good. So you're going to get good food. You're going to get good service. You're going to have a nice little place to sit down. There's probably plenty of corners where you can sit out of the way.
Yep. By the fireplace.
224 West Main Street in Branson, Missouri. That's 417-320-3046.
I have a special spot right next to the fireplace.
Do you?
Do you really?
Yeah, you know
Assigned
that.
seating.
You've
That
seen it.
giant fireplace that's
Yeah.
over there?
They light that up sometimes? Or it's-
Not now, but they will in this winter. They
Oh,
did.
yeah.
They did in like March when they opened up. They had it open.
oh,
They
neat.
had it up.
Okay, so today's topic of conversation is masks. Okay, so the mask mandate was passed,
Yes.
In Branson.
Yes.
and people are boycotting Branson now.
A lot of people are like, "We're out of here."
Okay, and I'm talking specifically to the people in the counties that have the masks, right? Or in the cities that have the masks, the mask mandate, which Springfield is one of them. If you go shopping in another city just so you don't have to wear a mask, what's going to happen to the businesses that are in your city? They're going to go bankrupt and they're going to shut down, and then it's going to become a ghost town. You're like, oh, there's nothing to do here. Now I have to now instead of having the convenience of running down the road in your city to stop at the grocery store or to go buy some clothes, you're going to have no choice but to go to a different city because all the other businesses are going to be shut down in your city. So what are you doing? Over a mask. And that is my opinion. Sorry, I'm really passionate about
I
this
agree.
because the businesses, they're small businesses
Right.
that thrive on local business,
Yep.
right? There's one right across the street here, a little bitty business. What's going to happen? And it's not the owner's fault
Right. Exactly.
that they have no choice but to mandate this, to actually enforce it. Okay? It is not their fault. Put on a mask. Wear one of these bandanas. Okay, so look, I get it. Those masks, they seem hard to breathe through. Although your pulse ox doesn't drop, it's more claustrophobic in mind. And I think people also are a bit overly dramatic about that. And that's my opinion. Look, this right here, you have plenty of air coming in right here, and it stops my spit from getting on these two. It stops my breath from going near as
vapor.
far.
The
It's
vapor
not
that
about,
it's
yeah.
living in.
People are like, oh, it doesn't help me. No, it's not about helping you, the wearer. It's about helping, if you, let's say you have it, and you don't know that you have it, you're asymptomatic. Think of all the people who you're putting in danger by not wearing a mask just because you're stubborn and hard-headed. Come on now. This right here does not restrict the airflow. See, it's open here, covers you all the way down to here, and it stops my spit from getting on his face and his face.
And the vapor from
And the
going
vapor.
out directly to.
It muffles it.
Yeah.
So
It's not perfect.
no, it's not. But something's got to be done because I'm telling you what, this is a real sickness.
Yeah.
There are people dying from this. Dying from this. So if you don't want to wear a mask, stay home.
Yeah.
And if you,
Don't expose everybody else.
right. And don't boycott your city's businesses just because you're stubborn.
And it's not about constitutional
It's
rights.
not.
Constitution provides us the right as long as it does not impose on somebody else. A deadly
Right.
disease that you can
Amen.
spread to somebody else is imposing on somebody else.
If you want to get mad about unconstitutional stuff, what about taxation without representation? That's something that's unconstitutional. If you don't pay your personal property tax, the government can come and take your home. That's unconstitutional.
You know, honestly, what I think is that through media, we've
very
been
passionate.
desensitized to feeling anything for anybody else because our sense,
care about
our
is me and mine.
senses and our emotions of empathy and sympathy have been overstimulated. So we've had to protect ourselves from emotional breakdowns and overloads by changing the way we feel about things we should be empathetic about, changing the way we feel about things that we should have sympathy about. And so we suppress those feelings because media brings everything right to our front door, and we can't handle all of that. So we have to suppress it.
Yeah,
But now a real thing like COVID comes around, and it's real. I got news for you.
it's real.
You think this isn't real, and you go around and be irresponsible about wearing masks and keeping your hands clean and doing all that stuff, what's going to happen is somebody close to you is going to get sick,
Jana. Thank you,
very
Jana.
sick, or die, and you're going to suddenly be faced with the reality that you may be the one responsible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
So what happens when that happens? And that's what's happening to people.
Yeah, I guess Jana, I heard that Michigan's Governor Whitmer has decided to close all the bars down again and have no more than 10 people in a public gathering again.
Yeah.
She's the only one that I'm aware of that's doing that. I don't know if anybody else is, but Jana, correct me if I'm wrong.
So I think that they have to open the economy because what they're finding out, and here's the thing too, is you have this disease that can kill people, and it's highly contagious. It can spread very quickly across vast spanses of
Yeah.
because people travel.
In a matter of 30 days, it was everywhere in the world.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
right. So you know, you have this disease, right? And it got out probably as a result of irresponsible handling of a man-made or man-altered dangerous disease that was altered to be even more dangerous to study it and to study that type of disease. And then you have, on the other hand, government reacting to protect us from it, and then the consequences of that are also causing things that are just as dangerous,
Right.
like mass hysteria,
You're right, Steve, she says.
businesses closing, people facing nihilistic. How could an economy recover that would supply enough jobs for us all to go back to work?
Yeah.
Or for half of us to go back to work and pay enough that we could all live off of it? You know, how is that going to be managed? And so when you're faced with that and you've got a whole family to feed and stuff like that, you know, it's those are difficult things to face.
I would not want to be in public office right now
I wouldn't either.
because there's a
I'd be
bullet in
scared.
every chamber,
Yep.
metaphorically, in
Yeah,
that aspect.
You're right.
You know, no matter what they do, no matter what they decide, and it's in our own best interest because people don't take their own best interest seriously.
Yeah.
And that's
Well,
why I
I'm not
told
wearing a
Ray-
mask. That's unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't want your spit in my face.
As a matter of fact, it is constitutional.
It is. Now, if they can't tell you to wear one at your house, they can't tell you to wear one in your car. But if you're in the public and you're exposing your breath and potentially exposing them to this virus, that is not that violates their constitutional rights to stay healthy.
But it's also, even if they can't make you wear it in your car or somewhere else, the way this spreads through vapor and through surfaces is there can be laws that if you're not going to wear it in your house and in your car, then you can't go certain places. You know what I mean? It all depends on how this is spread. We don't really fully understand how it spreads yet, or how all of the possibilities of how it spreads.
right.
And with it being so contagious and dangerous, you know, we don't know what the laws may be, but the laws are there to protect other people from you, to protect you from other people. That's what the laws are for. We could have absolute freedom in every way, and actually what we'd end up with is anarchy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
See,
everybody would be
Just like
sick.
church.
Right, and there's a
Church
clause
is
in
the
it.
same thing.
We have freedom so long as our freedoms don't impose on someone else's.
Good morning, Bruno, Virginia, Jessica Thomas. You know, I wanted to make sure I got that in, but you're right. I have been listening, and same thing with church. Now, our church has decided that you wear a mask in our church, in
Yeah,
the
so
hallways,
is ours.
and throughout. The only time that they said
We're not
that
even
you-
in the city.
right, and the only time that they said that we shouldn't wear masks is if we're seated. We have to sit in our seats, and then we can remove our masks. But when we get up to go to the hallway or to the bathroom, those masks have to come back on.
Well, we've got a
I forgot to share this morning.
what we do. I actually shared this
Morning,
morning.
Jennifer.
People are making a big deal because they can. It's
Well, let's try to do that, though. Let's, to be fair, try to play devil's advocate. No, I shouldn't even say devil's advocate. Let's try to share and support the perspective of those who are saying we shouldn't have to wear them. It's unconstitutional. Let's try to give them, because here's the thing. Do these people really want everybody to die from a dangerous disease? Of course not. We know that's not their motive. They don't. Their motive isn't to genuinely want to make everybody else sick.
No.
What is their motive? Well, for one, they probably don't believe that it's as serious as it is. They probably don't believe that it's as contagious as it is, or they believe it's a
hoax.
conspiracy of the government, a hoax to do whatever it is. And it may be, partly. Their reactions to it may be. I mean, I've suspected that somehow when it comes to the value of currencies, all of this was done to crash the economy, to control something that China was doing in order to gain control in the world economy and in our own. We are in massive debt to China. You know, and that's a very complicated mess, the national debts of all the different countries around the world, what central banks they're in debt to and who controls those banks. You know, I had suspicions that this was part of the whole problem too, was that they were using this as a way to control economics in a way that was, you know, controlling China and Russia and our enemies.
Actually,
Or
that was my thought.
Keeping them from gaining control. Now, look, that's one of my perspectives, and I believe that is part of probably what's going on. But here's the thing. Am I responsible to express myself in a way that, if I'm wrong, puts thousands of people at risk before I even know that I'm wrong? And then what's the evidence that I'm wrong? All the people I've exposed get sick?
yeah.
Or even a minority of them get sick, and an even smaller minority of them die.
Yeah.
Well, what does that make me? That makes me a selfish, irresponsible homicidal
Homicidal, is that what you're trying to say?
and homicidal. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've been informed that there's a contagious disease out there that is highly contagious, it's spreading, it's in your area,
I
it can
sneezed.
make people sick, it
Just
can
in
actually
case.
make them die, then you knowingly violate the things that we know about it that can actually prevent its spread. You know, willingly violate that. As a matter of fact, my personal opinion is that's homicidal. And
Yeah.
at the very least, very irresponsible.
Manslaughterish.
Manslaughter, yeah. So, you know, we've got to face those facts about how this is going to come down if us conspiracy theorists are wrong about it.
Hi, Marcia.
So I choose
True, Lydia.
to
Or
obey
Linda.
the law.
Linda, sorry.
Matter of fact, I chose, instead of obeying the law, but to follow the recommendations that were handed down as closely as I could, even though I at first didn't believe it was a real thing. That I thought it was some sort of manipulation by the government for some reason in this economic war we've been in to control the damages that are going to occur in this war. And that's my suspicion even still, that it's largely that's largely a part of all this. But the fact is, do I want to be, now look, do I want to be responsible if I'm wrong Can I be responsible and pay damages if I'm wrong? I can't even afford to pay damages if I'm wrong. I can't pay for one life.
It's better to overreact and be
I
wrong
can't
than
pay
to
for my
underreact and be
own.
wrong.
Jesus Christ had to pay for my life.
Mm.
How am I going to pay for somebody else's life when I can't even pay for my own and Jesus had to come and die for me?
Right.
Amen to that one.
Sorry, I need more coffee.
Just like with this, maybe I'm off topic, but the shows in Branson, they're having to deal with the public, and they're going to have to deal with a lot of issues as far as mandating and making sure that they have, by CDC rules, enough people in their audiences, and that's going to cut down on their economics.
Not only that, if somebody comes in who has had it, they're mandated to clean the place, shut it down and clean it, which is a massive expense.
Exactly.
In order to be thorough and actually do a good job at it and be secure in having a clean environment.
So the church, the Music City Center where King's Chapel is, and they've had that Jesus experience. Well, I talked to one of the actors yesterday morning, and he said that they had to cancel both their shows this last weekend due to somebody coming in and being exposed. And so now they've had to shut down
and sanitize the whole place. So they lost the income the revenue from the shows that they would have performed in order to incur a massive expense to do some cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, be responsible, wear a mask. If you're wrong about all of this, and look, as far as your rights go, if this is real, you do not have the right constitutionally to spread a dangerous disease. And yet you're silent when we have taxation without representation.
That doesn't make
when
any
our government's
sense.
not accountable for where they're spending the money so that we can actually account and know that our money is being well and properly spent. And then there's all kinds of other things that are wrong, that we should be protesting and that we should be standing on our constitutional rights about.
Mm-hmm.
And we just let it go.
So folks, just we need to unite and pray for these cities that are under the mask mandate. And we need to think about those small businesses who are going to suffer. If you decide you want to go to a city that doesn't have the mask, remember that fellow person that you're friends with that own a business, a small business, and think about one of the businesses that I know of had to shut down completely, and the owner is devastated because there was no business. So you see, small businesses are already losing, and if you guys decide that you want to go elsewhere to do your business, just think about your friend who owns a business. Are you willing to leave your friend's business to go elsewhere, or are you going to support that friend?
Or cause them the hardship of having to close down and lose the revenue for the days that they spend cleaning? You're actually responsible for causing that.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. And if they're your friends, and you're not really, I don't think you're a true friend when you abandon their friend or their business
Good morning, Larry.
to go elsewhere.
For a superficial,
That's just my opinion, but
for a superficial, constitutional right that's not even actually accurate understanding of constitutional rights. Your constitutional right ends where somebody else's health begins. When you're risking spreading a disease to somebody else who may die from it, you are not exercising your constitutional right. You are violating the Constitution.
Somebody else's constitutional. We're all pretty passionate about this.
yes.
Because all right, first of all, you've got a compromised immune system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jay?
Yeah.
We smoke. I have parents that are in their 70s with compromised immune systems. And I'm sure you guys have people in your life that are in that ratio of people that, if they get sick with this, are at risk of being very sick with it or even dying.
Mm-hmm.
This may seem like just a little piece of fabric to you guys, but this could mean the difference between you giving it to the person you love or the person that you don't know in the store. I'm okay with, I mean,
Be
now
a testimony.
my son might disagree with me.
Now
Which one?
here's another aspect of it, though. We find out that we were manipulated and violated in this way. Part of our problem, and the people who refuse to wear masks and are standing on the Constitution and tired of having their rights violated. Your rights were violated and violated and violated, and nothing. Now a mask is what's inspiring you to act out and rebel against the law. I understand the feeling that, look, suppose you actually do have a constitutional issue in your life. I think the average American feels like they could never afford the time and representation it would take to actually have justice for themselves. And I think people feel like the idea of going to court to seek justice is futile. It costs more than you can afford. And
Yeah.
so in the end, no matter how hard you fight for your rights in court, you lose because you run out of money.
Right.
And I think that's a problem with our court system and our legal system. And then also on top of that, governments that are abusing their power,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
is many, and government entities and organizations and government, what's that called, institutions that have so abused their power, and we all know it and see it, feel hopeless and helpless because how are we going to go to the courts? We'll run out of money before they do because they're the ones who are controlling the money.
I saw
They're
lady,
the largest employer in our country.
the government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how are we going to fight them? Become unemployed or have all of our friends and families become unemployed? And that is an effect that will domino. So I think we have a problem in that we don't feel like our governments are adequate. Now, look, and on the other hand, we all do enjoy being able to travel 25 miles from our home to go to work and be able to do it safely on a road that our transportation will actually get back and forth safely without potholes everywhere that break
Right.
it down. You know, we all appreciate those things and are grateful and thankful for the government. Not all.
That's stuff we
most
take
of us.
for granted.
And we take those things for granted, and they are very expensive to maintain, to build and
Yeah.
maintain. So there's a point. There's a point though. Here's where government and all of those institutions and organizations and entities have their value. But then when it comes to rights and justice and all that stuff, we feel like we are not able to attain it. That we are just subjects. And we're not supposed to be subjects or feel like we are. You know, so our government has a serious issue with those things, is that people don't feel like they can attain justice because they can't afford it. Are we not supposed to be able to afford justice? We're supposed to be able to seek justice and know that we're represented,
Right.
but we don't feel that way. And I think most people don't feel that way. And they feel like it would be easier to risk their life in a riot or being arrested, fighting the police and going to court and jail that way than to afford actually fighting for their rights before they've lost them.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a scary and difficult thing that our governments need to sort out, or else there is no alternative but revolution. I mean,
Morning,
that's
Mary
that's what will occur. I mean, how can you avoid it? Except for absolute harsh oppression by the government, and then it'll be too late. Our
Yeah.
guns will be gone. It'll be just like Nazi Germany.
You know, one of the small businesses that I'm passionate about, and I'm sure the rest of us are,
Oh yeah,
is Jennifer. Jennifer with the Ozark Craft Mall.
yeah. Ozark is there
Ozark Mountain Craft Mall.
Ozark Mountain Craft Mall?
Mountain Craft Mall.
Yep.
She does a lot of things there. She makes T-shirts. She makes coffee mugs.
Yeah.
It's an odd, you know. Speaking of, I mean, we're
So
talking
put on
about
a mask. Go out there and check it out. I bet
By the
she
way,
sells
they've got
masks.
masks.
I bet-
They've got masks for, I think, $1, I think.
Yeah.
$5.
$1.
and they're probably made from cloth.
Yeah, they are.
Cloth masks for $1 a piece. That's actually
Go
really
check
good.
them out.
Because you're looking at getting 4 masks for like $7 at other retail stores and more.
Yeah.
But anyway, they've got a lot of neat items, and there's a lot of sales going on right now.
Yeah, a lot of vendors. In
Support your local
30.
business and business abroad
There's 30 different vendors.
by going to the Ozark Mountain Craft Mall, buying a mask. Take a look around while you're there. They got a lot of neat things to buy.
Yeah.
Like honey
Things you can
sticks.
enjoy.
Oh, did I say that?
there. Honey sticks. Oh, are you a vendor
Honey
in there?
sticks?
Yeah.
He's a vendor.
Yes,
So
I
you
am.
sell honey sticks in there,
Yes.
in a booth. In there.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's it's a bunch of vendors and a bunch of booths.
And if
Right.
you're a vendor, think about going and seeing about maybe
Talk
finding
about,
a space on their floor.
Yeah. Talk about Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in
Hey,
there
it's
you
coming
can
up.
buy.
Yeah,
It's
already.
going to be here before you know it. The weeks are
Crazy.
disappearing
You
on
can
me.
actually go in there and probably spend less than $100 on your whole family.
So it's kind of like kind of like that flea market here in town, only with crafts.
Right. Well, there's different crafts, different people that have made different things.
Steve Schultz said he's going to be at the fair. He's
Yeah,
going to
he's
be at
the
the
wood
carving.
carving.
The wood
People are
carving.
going.
By the way,
Is he really? So
Yeah.
he's going to be doing a tutorial?
I don't know what he's going to be
I don't
doing.
know. He said he was going to be carving. By the way, speaking of crafts, Silver Dollar City is going to be open this weekend, and the Newsboys are returning. Well, I mean, not returning. They were supposed to be there for Young Christians Weekend, but obviously because of COVID, they canceled. But they said that they're coming back, and it'll be this weekend, this Saturday.
I know, and people are thinking about boycotting because of this mask thing. Put on a mask and go check it out. Support these things opening back up.
Yeah. Do you want the economy to get better?
Yeah.
Or do you want to sit there and kick and scream and act like a child about it?
Buying a cheap mask contributes to a local.
Okay, so I'm sorry I didn't mean to be so harsh about it. I'm very passionate about this because I have elderly parents that I have contact with every single day, and I wear a mask when I go in the house because I don't want my spit hitting my parents if I've got it. And I use grain alcohol, 190 proof alcohol to spray my hands with, spray my clothes, everything, because if I lose them due to this, I mean, I definitely will be a more serious advocate about masks.
Oh,
but-
maybe even more aggressive.
Yeah, I pray. I pray that won't happen. But just come on now, folks. And if you disagree, chime in. We're not going to chastise you.
Well, we probably will. But have a backbone.
love.
we won't be mean about it.
Yeah, we'll do it with love.
It may feel mean. It'll feel mean.
Yeah, I
But
was
have a
talking.
backbone.
I was talking to my pastor, our pastor, yesterday, and he's talking about love is not nice. Love is kind.
Yeah.
Sometimes that kindness is not nice.
No. You're right.
It's kindness with love.
But there's a difference
Sometimes
between
it's harsh.
there's a difference
Correct
between
one another in love.
Exactly.
there's a difference between kindness, niceness, and meanness. Love is not mean, but kind, it's definitely not nice.
Right, because you're doing it with a kind heart, but it's sometimes feels brutal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you're direct, and you're
that's an
firm about it.
aspect of love I didn't even really think about. I've never really thought of it like that before. But after talking to him about it, because that's what he's been preaching
There's
on, is love.
constructive criticism versus destructive criticism.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But we definitely want to hear your viewpoints on it.
Yeah.
My personal viewpoint is wear the mask. It's not that big of a deal. People are like, it's not that. It's about them. What was it? Somebody called it baby steps or something like that, to taking over all of our rights or whatever, to becoming communist.
Those baby steps have been taken for a long time, and they weren't baby steps. Where were you then?
Right. A lot of them weren't even born yet.
Yeah. Instead, they're gonna, consider their rights so important that they're gonna put everybody else at risk of getting a dangerous and
Yeah, what
deadly
about my
disease.
rights? What about my rights to not catch your coronavirus?
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
so
Yeah, exactly. Pam was just chiming in there, wanting to know if I was wearing the new T-shirt.
Yes, you are wearing the new T-shirt. I got mine in my office.
Yeah, that's what I already told her, and I said we're picking up the rest of them today.
That's good. That's
So
good.
you will have yours.
Good morning, Amber Shreve. We are talking about masks or no masks today. Pretty hot topic out there. Pretty
Yes.
tough, and it's controversial. A mask. Controversy over masks. Of all things to have controversy over.
I can't believe
masks.
we're sitting here talking about
It's
this.
like, man, really?
Yeah.
This is one topic of conversation I thought we'd never have.
Right.
Good morning, Donna Kilmurray. Welcome to the party. Larry Melton says, Dr. F said we need to wear
Goggles.
now.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Can you imagine masks and goggles?
Amber Shreve says, just wear them, people! Exclamation point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goggles?
I get the reason for the
That's-
outrage, though.
That's
Yeah.
pushing it.
Don't we all feel like there's something just going down the tubes about our government and our
Yeah.
our society and all
I
that
think we're
stuff? I
going
mean,
down
that's people are trying to take a stand because they're tired of
The
seeing
proverbial
everything
straw
go
that broke
south.
the camel's back. I get that.
Exactly.
I get that.
I think the goggles thing, though, is I think you're pushing it a little bit. I mean, I can understand because you're protecting your eyes, you're protecting your face, mouth, that. But
All right, I got a question here. Let's see here. Let me see. The
Okay.
USA spike is up 25%. Only Germany and Ukraine is higher. Does a mask hold the virus? Does a mask reduce oxygen and expose carbon monoxide poisoning? I have actually worn I've actually worn.
Ask doctors and nurses about that. You know,
I
I mean,
will,
come
Pam,
on.
in just a minute.
I've actually worn a pulse oximeter just out of curiosity and put the mask on, an actual, the one that you see everybody wearing. I've tried it with all different masks, and my pulse ox never dropped below 98. It was at between 98 and 99 the entire time, and my heart rate was fine. So I don't think it stops oxygen. I don't think it increases carbon monoxide. Because it is indeed fabric. I think it's more claustrophobic. Your brain telling you can't breathe. And I am here to say I know for a fact that as a person with claustrophobia and someone who overthinks things, if you focus on your breathing, it's going to feel harder to breathe,
True.
regardless of how much oxygen you have in your blood. And that's basically you having anxiety about it. That's what that is. That's overthinking it. The brain is a very powerful thing. It can make you feel things that you don't actually feel.
I think it's primarily rebellion, though.
I agree. A mask, unless it is properly fitted mask, it does not protect that much. COVID is airborne or droplet.
Yeah, that's what I keep on hearing. And a lot of people are wearing those masks inappropriately and not inappropriately.
Oh yeah,
with
whenever they walk around and they have so the mask. Yeah, this is probably the inappropriate way to wearing it underneath your nose is
Right.
crazy. Wearing it under your chin all the time or right up under your lip. Okay, that's kind of crazy. I wear a bandana, so that's not the proper way to do it. The primary focus is not to keep me from getting it; it's to keep other people from getting it from me.
because you don't know you
That's
have
the
it.
point of the mask.
You really don't know if you.
If you use a mask for more than 15, 20 minutes, the condensation builds up in that fabric. I mean, logic dictates that if there is a bacteria or a virus in that condensation, and you breathe in through the mask, it'll pull those droplets in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the point is to keep my droplets to myself.
Yeah.
That's the point of the mask. Larry says, I think we for sure need to wash our hands more and not touch our face until
Yeah.
you wash your hands.
Yeah.
That's true. That is very true.
Good
That
point.
is the selfish perspective, though, and we've got to understand that you do have to protect yourself as well.
Yes.
But I think that in conjunction with wearing the mask is most
Yeah.
important. Doing both, because one isn't really very effective without the other, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
So go help those small businesses
Yeah.
buy masks that have them. Either they're going to be on sale, or they're going to have them dirt cheap, just for because. And a lot of times they only sell them for $1, just so that because a lot of places that you don't walk in with the mask, they're going to have them there at the front on sale or giving them out, one of the two.
Yeah.
I've got to show this shirt off because I think that we need to show off this shirt so that we let know people that Jennifer has an actual printing place there at her shop. So hold on just a minute. I think I'm gonna do what you did.
Stand up in the middle.
Yep. Let me know because obviously I can't tell.
You know, I could always just go get mine from the office. But there you go. And there you go.
There you go.
That's a t-shirt.
That's a t-shirt.
That's good right there.
Yep. And then the polos are coming.
And we had already put their banner up across here this morning, but I'll put it up there for a quick second. 1940 Missouri 76, Branson, 417-320-1221. Call and put in your order today.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
how do you get one? You talking about one of our shirts?
Become
Donna?
a volunteer.
Well, I mean, I don't see why they couldn't
Yeah.
go down there and ask for one.
Right.
You know, call and ask for them to make you one.
And I'm sure she'll make you a good deal.
Now, there is one thing Larry says. You can see used masks all over the parking lot at a particular parts and tool store.
So far, I haven't seen any. I've seen a few scattered here and there, but it hasn't been a big, like, parking lot.
Oh, yeah, I'm
full.
sure when the parking lot's empty,
Oh, yeah.
there's masks everywhere.
I bet you just might not be able to see them, but I'm
Yeah.
sure they're there.
So it's like, man, it's now the N95 masks, those are actually respirators.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the half-face respirators, and they do need to be fit tested to your face.
Right.
And that's whenever you have to keep clean shaven. And I know this because I worked for a battery factory, and they had to keep lead particles from entering your bloodstream via your respiratory system.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, those protect you from everybody else. But when you breathe out, it's a one-way valve. It just goes out forward. So you're basically protecting yourself from everybody else and then exposing your vapors to everybody because it is a one-way valve. Granted, it deflects it.
You know, I also just thought of the perspective that people are watching us right now sitting here without masks.
Yeah.
Doing what we're doing.
We're also we're about 6 feet from each other.
We sanitize this between every show.
Yep.
And
Mics.
Mics,
yeah,
tables.
we're not actually directly facing one another
That's true.
in general, and
We're not kissing each other.
and we wear masks outside of this.
Yeah, we
So
do.
when you see us out in public and even around here in the office and in the building,
We got masks
you're going to
on.
see us following the laws as closely as possible. Not just wearing masks, but also washing our hands. You
Hand
know,
sanitizer,
yeah.
everything. Because we don't want
We're not-
want other people to get sick.
And we don't want to give the impression that because we're not wearing masks.
We're
and
also
here we are talking about it.
Yeah.
But we are.
Yes. Especially out here in our little foyer.
Yep. We are.
I'm going to make sure that everybody wears masks because that's a tiny foyer. So if a bunch of people are sitting in there without masks on, it kind of defeats the purpose
Yep.
of wearing a mask all the way
we
up
can
here.
hear each other through those masks.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes, you know, it makes you realize how much you rely on looking at someone's lips when they talk to help tell you what. Well, a lot
So
of
if
us
you
read lips.
you're
A lot of
done.
us read lips more than we realize.
Yeah.
And it does muffle the sound a bit. It is inconvenient.
Yeah.
But you know what else is inconvenient?
Dying.
Dying of COVID-19.
Or somebody dying because you
Or
had
somebody
it and
you
didn't
know.
get sick from it, but were
Right.
highly
family
contagious.
member dying.
And that's the
Yeah.
shame is that's what it's going to take is for a lot of these people to understand that they're not expressing their freedom in a productive
Pam.
way. They're expressing their freedom. And I also can't help but think that maybe this is part of the media and
Jim texts me, Pam texts you. So it's like,
the media, you know, because they say they're trying to affect our elections. Our enemies are. I wouldn't doubt if a lot of this is some of that. That you create all this turmoil. Who are you going to be satisfied with, and who are you going to vote for, and all those things. So I'm sure they're trying to. That's how they sowed discourse in the last elections.
Yeah.
So don't be easily manipulated that way. And really, when you think about constitutional rights, we need to go back on some bigger ones that are already lost.
Yeah, no kidding.
And
Like
those of you
there are
who
in-
are in elected offices, you need to start taking account of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and more importantly, our Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
Because if you allow the government that you are working in to become the very
Uncle Ray.
thing our Declaration of Independence eliminated when it was declared, then you're the one whose doorstep they're gonna be on. When we declared independence, we threw the enemies and occupations of other nations out of our country.
Right.
And what country are you going to be cast out to?
There's no other.
If your people aren't feeling like they have actually, because justice is one of the most important things of our government. When people feel like they don't have access to justice and that going to court is futile, something that would bankrupt them, I can't help but think that's a design by the people of power.
Yeah. The problem is we don't know for sure what's going on, who's behind it. Like I said, it seems like there might be it's like an evil villain or something sitting there petting a cat. I'm going to get you,
Yeah.
And I mean, these maniacal plans.
Yeah. Being represented, the population being represented, that's another guarantee of our government. It's part of the design of our government. Our representation isn't representing us and acting on our behalf. And then and then there's the presidency, the executive branch. They're supposed to make decisions that are hard without,
Thank you, Linda.
to protect us.
And Donna Kilmurray says COVID is dangerous, but it has been around for years, hence 19. Just like the flu strands, COVID mutates as well, hence the 19. Just because you get it and develop antibodies does not mean you cannot get it again.
True.
Good point.
So that's
Yep.
exciting.
We don't know really for sure yet, do
Yeah,
we?
Uncle Raymond says, is that why the Lone Ranger wore a mask?
I don't know, but he's bringing it back. Can you imagine he's rolling in his grave right now? They took his off in a court of law. Did you know that?
No,
You don't remember that?
I don't remember.
They forced him to take his mask off. Yeah, and he's a fictional character, an actor, playing a part, a fictional character. Ask Uncle Ray.
Like
Do you
real
remember?
court? Like
Yeah.
real live court?
They went and had his mask legally removed, which is absurd.
Why?
That's stupid. Wow.
I don't know.
When was
actually,
this?
I do remember
And how
that.
long have people...
I thought it was a hoax or a joke or something.
Yes, well, the funny thing is that's one of the things about a constitutional republic that does not have a power outside of itself that actually point a compass. That's what I mean by a religious or some sort of a moral base that is over the law, that dictates what law is and what law isn't. And I understand also that we would not have made advances, for instance, of like gay rights and things like that. Those would have been much more difficult if we hadn't ventured away from our
Johnny Rooster.
Christian base of the law, because those things would have been denied.
He says you don't need a mask to hear the morning mouth at 9.
No, you don't.
That was a good plug there, Johnny.
Today's title is Enjoy Corruption, USA. Gonna have a
And I think that's part of the
gonna have a
real.
politician on there.
I think that's where people's voices are where people are really trying to have their voices heard. Is that, like you said, the straw that broke the camel's back. This feels like more than it is because it's something that's physically on us.
Yeah.
Let's look at some positive things. As a cashier, having no other choice to communicate with people but to look in their eyes,
Mm-hmm.
has been absolutely a positive thing, hands down, both for the customers and for myself.
Because people smile with their eyes.
We have customers, probably a high percentage. I never really took the time to kind of take note of it and know what kind of percentages they are. A large percentage of the public don't even look in people's eyes. They don't look each other in the eye. Their eyes are downturned. If they do make eye contact, it's very short before they turn away. And this mask thing has really made a difference there. People are looking each other in the eye now. There's kind of a more, in order to connect in a way that allows you to do the everyday business that you do, there's a tendency, because there's nothing else to look at except the eyes.
Right.
That, and I'm also seeing the messages on people's masks. I've always been I don't know if it's a compulsion of mine or what, but I read people's shirts. It's just something I do.
You're a walking billboard.
Well, every shirt that comes in, if it has words on it, I try to read it, unless it seems like I'm maybe staring at somebody's, breasts or something. I try not to be obnoxious. You know what I mean? I try to be concerned that maybe it could be misconceived as me looking at something else.
Right.
But I try to read shirts. I don't know why. It's interesting to me. And you see a lot of
billboards.
You see people's political perspectives. But another thing about reading people's shirts, not only do you see their political perspective, but then in your experience as a cashier, doing business with them, serving them, you find out what kind of people they are. And that's a problem we have in our public right now, is that we are judging people by their differing opinion as bad.
Right.
And the fact is, a lot of these people with extreme differing opinions aren't bad people. They're kind, generous, caring, friendly. So we need to be careful about letting these perspectives rule us, or the media tell us what something says about somebody, when really it doesn't say as much about them as you think.
I'd love to read menus such as Steamy Joe's.
Steamy Joe.
Do you?
Yeah, Steamy Joe has great menu. They have great food. They also have a great
good timing. I was just getting ready to talk about that.
Well, hey.
So, put your mask on and go down to Steamy Joe Cafe, 224 West Main Street in Branson, Missouri, 417-320-3046, and pick up a buy one, get one free Steamy Joe Supreme Salad.
Large or small.
Large or small. Buy one, get one free. You just tell them you want the morning drive special.
Yep.
Tell them that we sent you. And their food is really great. Grab a scone while you're there. Cinnamon roll.
Brownies.
Brownies. Great brownies there.
Chicken salad croissant.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, those things looked so amazing.
Those things are huge.
So, and with that, it's about time for us to get out of here.
So, yep.
Steamy Joe Cafe, 224 West Main Street in Branson.
It is a small business.
This is the last day.
Go support their small businesses in Branson. If you're watching and you're from Branson, please go visit your small businesses.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
help them out.
And any attractions that are open, I don't know how many are open right now, but.
All right. You know what that means.
Yep, it's time to get out of here. Oh.
I'd like to thank everybody for joining us on the Morning Drive today. We'll be back on a Monday, same time, same channel. But before then, tune in next for The Morning Mouth with Johnny Rooster and Pastor Matt, with his special guest, Representative Lynn Morris, on the phone, talking about the pay scale and stuff. It's going to be fun. Check it out. And then followed by the Happy Hour with Dr. Paul Collins and his wife, Nancy. So until then, my friends, God bless you and keep you. We love you. My name is Matt.
My name is Jay.
My name is Steve.
And this has been The Morning Drive.